Hi guys, Paul here from Short Bark Insights. I'm doing the second video, and this video is on parasites. We're going to talk a lot about fleas, basically because flea season is starting when it approaches, and that's with the warm weather coming in. And basically you may see your dog starting to act a bit different. He may be scratching a lot, he could be a bit down, he may be trying to rub himself basically all over, especially if you have carpets or if you have grass in the field. He could be rolling all over that. Anything basically alleviate the itching. Excessive licking as well could be a big one. You could be licking around his rear end and around his feet. Basically, it's almost like a biting motion as well, where it's almost to the point where you could be drawing blood. If that's the case, it would be like a bad infestation. The best way for you to figure out if your dog has fleas is take him to a groomer, and the vets as well will obviously be able to determine whether your dog has fleas or not. Your groomer should be able to tell you within a couple of minutes. We deal with it day to day. It's not a big deal to us. We can treat them with flea shampoo, and then we can recommend what you do from there. But I'm going to give you a bit of that now, so you're a bit more prepared for the season coming up. So if I get the dog here, Rocket. Good boy. So, like I said, if your dog's scratching, the obvious place for fleas is going to be up underneath, around the rear end and underneath the armpits. If you raise the dog's leg up or have a look underneath there and you see little black reddish dots moving about there, that's going to be fleas. The best way for you to tell at home without trying to search the whole dog, because you could miss them basically if you don't know what you're looking out for, is to try and catch the flea dirt, which you basically it's called the salt and pepper test. And what you do is you get your dog to sit on a big bit of newspaper or A3 size paper, give the dog a good rub over, and you're trying to get the dander and dirt to fall off the dog onto the paper. When that happens, you then get a wet cotton bud or a wet bit of paper and smudge it into the dirt. If that turns like a red tingy colour, that's the dried blood, that's the flea dirt. That's what they leave behind after they basically feast on your dog. So if you see that, you need to get your dog treated for fleas. You can do that obviously with your vet. You can get stuff at the pet stores. I wouldn't recommend it, mostly because they're not to kill the fleas, they're to try and prevent the dog getting fleas, and most of them are going to be lavender based, because lavender is an anti-parasite, but it's not a guaranteed way to kill the fleas. You should always go to your vet. They probably have a few different treatments. They'll have a pill which the dog ingests and basically kills the fleas for I think up to 2 weeks. I think they have an injection now, which is I think it treats up to 6 months, which is really good. Basically, what I'm going to get for you now is it's not just about treating the dog's fleas on the dog, it's about treating them at home. It's about breaking the flea cycle, and that basically means when your dog's at home and if he has fleas, the fleas jump off the dog and they jump on the dog bed, they lay eggs and they jump back on the dog. So if you treat your dog for fleas and it's now 2 weeks later and your dog has fleas again, it's because you haven't treated your house at home or where the dog's sleeping mainly. If you've seen fleas on your dog, if your groomer has told you your dog has fleas, if the vet has told you he has fleas and has given you flea treatment, what I'd recommend doing is getting rid of the bedding. Wherever he's sleeping, just get rid of it. There is ways to kill them on it. There's sprays, there's powders you can get to put on the bedding. I wouldn't really recommend it. The stuff does work, but it's not, in my eyes, not a guarantee. You're going to want to just get rid of the bedding and get new bedding. It's much easier. You could be chasing this here flea cycle for months, the whole way over the summer basically, and much in the winter, and your dog could be suffering because of it. Instead of just getting rid of the bedding and getting new stuff in, treating your dog with the flea treatment from the vets or from your groomers, and problem solved dead quick, instead of letting it linger on. And like I said, if you're not sure, just go to your groomer. Most groomers, like I said, in a couple of minutes will look over your dog and be able to tell you. The other thing I should point out is ticks. Ticks aren't really too much seasonal to worry about, but depending on the area and where you take your dog to walk, it can be a lot more popular for them. So if you take your dog to a beach a lot or watery areas, ticks are going to be a lot more common, and they're quite a bit harder to find on the dog. Your groomer may not always spot them, but through the groom they may come across them, and basically a tick very much looks identical to a skin tag, and that's basically just like a fleshy lump on the dog. And the way you indicate whether it's a tick is basically it has legs. You'll see 3 or 4 brown legs coming out from the skin, from the lump. That might be a little bit hard to describe or for you to understand, But basically, if you see a skin tag and you're not sure, point it out to your groomer, and once again they'll be able to tell you right away whether it's a tick or not. They're not hard to get off, but if left untreated, they can give your dog Lyme disease, which is quite serious, and they're quite uncomfortable. If you try to pull them out yourselves, that's quite risky. And I point this out to you because basically the tick's head will still stay in the skin of the dog. So you pull the body off and the head will remain, and that could like very easy way for your dog to get a skin infection, and quite a sore one as well. And that's not recommended. Like, don't do it. You know, take it to your groomer or to your vet, and they'll be able to treat it near enough immediately. If it's a serious outbreak of ticks from the area or from the beach you've been to, and your dog has quite a few of them, there'll be better remedies at vets. They'll be able to give you something your dog can ingest, and it'll be able to get rid of them much quicker. Instead of you guys stabbing away like tick removers, you can get them from pet stores. You know, it's not the best thing, and you could really hurt it all. And then obviously you don't want to be getting the tick head stuck in there. So like I said, the top recommendations are: go to your groomers to check for parasites, your vets to treat them. Your vets are always going to have the best flea treatment and tick removing equipment there. The stuff at the pet store is for preventative measures. It rarely, in my eyes, works. It rarely kills the fleas. It's not guaranteed. This stuff, there's a reason why it's cheaper than the vet stuff, and there's a reason why the vet uses tablets and injections, because it directly kills them. If your dog does have fleas, you need to break the cycle, which means getting rid of the bedding. As well as that, if your dog does have fleas, you'll probably have to get it wormed, but that is the vet's area, and they will recommend what you do there. I hope this was helpful, guys. Like I said, if you find these helpful, comment below, subscribe to your channel, go to your Facebook, like our page, and you'll see what we get to do day to day. I got a couple of questions from the last video. You guys want to know what we use in here for shampoo and stuff. Basically, our stuff in here is for groomers. You're not going to be able to buy it cheaply enough anyway from pet stores. But what I'll recommend is use anything all natural. A great brand which I recommend at home is All Earth, Earth Bath. Yep. So you can get Earth Bath pretty much from any pet store. It's all natural, you can't do any harm, and it is great stuff. It smells amazing as well. And I think somebody wanted me to do a video on Bichons, which I might do next if I get a volunteer, and basically I can go over some tips and tricks to keeping Bichons nice and fluffy, and different drying and brushing techniques. But we'll see how that goes. Thanks guys, thanks for tuning in, and like I said, subscribe to the channel if you liked it. See you next time.